Okay.
They didn't go.
Will you press your phone and make sure that's not like super crooked?
It wasn't very pleasant.
Thank you. You can see that. No, I'm showing you more of it. See, I can see
Yeah.
You all members of the board have the two financial documents? Let's make sure. Okay.
Okay, I've got 6:30. Please, the prayer, please.
Lord, we are thankful for this day. We're thankful for your many blessings you give us. Thankful for how you love us, how you take care of us. And Lord, I pray you might be with us tonight as we make decisions that be done according to what's best for our town. Lord, we're just thankful to hear and answer prayer for what you're going to do. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Holy roll.
Okay, Kelly? Kelly? Yeah, I've got you on speaker now, sorry. Okay, Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Jeff?
Here.
Dwayne?
Yes.
And George?
Here.
All right, we have a quorum.
Everyone, if you're able, please stand and be sworn to lead.
of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to work on my big boy voice here, because I've heard in the past I mumble a lot and I can't hear me. Ms. Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to throw something out at you here initially. I want you to know, since we are in a public meeting, in a public forum, there's a potential, and I need to make you aware that there's a potential that the public in attendance may record this meeting, which is protected under the First Amendment at this point in time, is making you aware of the situation. You understand that, what I read to you?
Kelly, did you hear that?
Okay. I'm just making you aware that we're in a public meeting, in a public forum, and there's potential for this meeting to be recorded. I'm just making you aware that's protected under the First Amendment, and that could be happening at this meeting. We're not recording anything via the board, but if the public's doing so, it's their right.
Yes.
All right. We need to vote on the minutes.
I am recording. Just staying for the record.
accept minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, I'll call the roll. Kelly? This is on the minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Martha?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And Dwayne?
Yes.
All right, motion carried.
Mr. Chris?
All right, I want to talk about the financial statements first. That's this document I passed out right here. Let's turn to page 3 of 6. Just point out a couple financial details. In our cash and CDs, they total $1,390,806 under total current assets, the far right column. Everybody see that? Okay. A couple other financial on page 5 of 6. Our general fund has a profit of $19,858. And on 6 of 6 is the water, sewer, and garbage funds. Total profit on all those $23,262. If anybody has any questions on these financials, I encourage you all to set up a meeting with me at a different time outside the meeting. Before the meeting, I'll go over them with you in detail. Okay, I'll talk about the claims next. These are the bills we're paying. That's this document right here, the claims report. Page 2 of 10 is the general fund. Let's see if there's RSP heating and cooling, new vendor repairs to an air conditioning unit. Southern Illinois Mayors Association. We didn't pay this last year, but many of my clients do. Our village president will be able to, attend those meetings and take part in that organization. So, okay. Yeah, we paid it the year before last. We didn't pay it last year, but we got a renewal this year, so it's $50. Okay. Page 3 of 10, nothing out of the ordinary there. Page 4 of 10, Jolt LLC, that's something on the fire department. And then a check to Doyle Winberry, some repairs to some fire equipment. Banner fire equipment also, some repairs to fire equipment. Page 5 of 10, nothing out of the ordinary there. Page 6 of 10, nothing out of the ordinary. That includes the general fund, water, sewer, and garbage. I think everything is normal there.
Is our animal control, is that monthly?
It is now. Yeah, we haven't been getting bills on that for a while, but we started getting bills again.
Motion to accept the claims report.
Make a motion to accept the claims report.
I'll second it.
During the financial reports.
Yes.
All you need to approve is the claims. Financials don't need to be a second of board meetings. They're just a report. They're just financial statements. They're just the claims. It's all that needs to be approved. You're approving the disbursement of funds.
Okay. Let me call a roll. Kelly?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And Dwayne?
Yes.
Motion carried.
So, next up, let's go ahead and hear from the public. This is the public comment section. I was gonna change around a little bit, but we're just gonna stick to this for the most part. Does anybody have anything this month? Sorry.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have a couple things if I can, take a few minutes. A couple things I have questions concerning.
Can you introduce yourself?
What's your name?
Sherry Beal.
Sherry Beal.
Yeah.
It is starting
Our
with
food,
Yes.
Valier financial reporting on our website.
All right, hold on just a second.
This needs to be taken care of, it's still showing 2021.
Okay.
We just printed it tonight, so we need to see 2022, 2023, and 2024.
Those are publicly available on the Illinois Comptroller's website. They're real easy to
They
access.
are there.
Oh, yeah,
They're
just-
supposed to be available on.
I'm not sure, that's a question for the lawyer, whether those are legally required to be posted on the
That's all
village's
right, we need
website.
that.
But if you just type in a Google search, Illinois Comptroller, the warehouse, type in Valier, you'll get it. You can look at all of our financial reports right there.
Okay, but it is needed to be on our website. 4 years is a little too long to see a financial audit. Okay, the second section is, I noticed on the agenda we have, some concerns about training. Has everybody done their OMA and FOIA training? All complete and filed with the city clerk? 1, 2, Dwayne, Marshall, you have it, Marshall?
Not yet.
Okay, 90 days are expired to do that, and it is required of you to do that? This is part of it. Matter of fact, took courses yesterday, both of them, as a public, takes no time at all. If you need instructions, then you print them off to whoever's not completing them. And there's the one for FOIA training, okay. Also, we're talking about, on the agenda, camera placement. Disturbing of the agenda of the residents at the meeting. I don't believe that should be an issue. I don't believe anybody in this audience has an issue with that. I've not heard of any. Please raise your hands if you do. I think at this point, it becomes a First Amendment constitutional to freedom of speech. So
You're
that,
missing the whole point. This resolution has nothing to do with you recording.
I'm just saying, if that's what it's coming to.
It has nothing to do with your recording. It has to do with the cameras that are placed outside the building.
Okay, well, that's the next thing I'm coming up to, the cameras within the building. So is that gonna be in every room of the building? Is that gonna only be in the hallways, the
That's what the
entrances?
resolution is to discuss.
We'll go through it.
Okay, that's a
The
question.
board
I
will
have.
decide that.
Yeah, the building, needs to be told that you're being monitored when you enter the building.
And
So
that's
that
one of
would
the
be-
things that we need to post, that you are being monitored.
Okay, so those are a few things that I noticed in going through the agenda that made me wonder where we're going with things. So, I'll be more than happy to listen.
I think you'll get some answers furthermore in the meeting when it comes to those topics specifically. Anyone else?
Was Ted on for now, or was he on the, Ted, I'm taking Ted's place tonight, is he?
It's down for,
It's down further?
Yeah, he's on the agenda.
Okay.
That's what we have.
Okay, yeah,
And-
yeah.
That being said, is Ted here, Mr. Farmer?
No, I'm taking his place tonight.
Okay. All right, anyone else? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
That's it. Yes, at this point.
So,
Go ahead. Introduce yourself, those.
oh, sure, my name is Jacqueline Gold, from West Johnson Street. Is the subject of sewer drainage going to be on the agenda?
Yes, it is specifically for your area.
So we don't need to make a determination?
No, not at this point in time. I've actually done research on it. I have pictures. I have prices. We're gonna go over that later in the meeting. So that's specifically one of the proposals is for your location.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, so for now, that concludes the public comment section. And to furthermore go into these, and I know people are gonna have concerns about these resolutions coming up. A lot of this is gonna be surrounded on, in the future, if it's passed at the next meeting, we'll have a sign up, so people can sign up, and it's optional, put a topic on there, we just wanna be able to introduce to everybody. It's for the most part to make things go more expeditiously through these meetings, because there's a lot of these meetings we've been here relatively late, and it doesn't need to go that way. As for the other stuff, we'll address that there too. And another part is the format in a nutshell. We don't need outbursts, we don't need comments made and all that. I can't tell you what to do, you're all adults. We're just trying to maintain a professional meeting more than anything else. So, next up, I'm gonna go over the mayor's report and correspondence at the same time here. Few things. Under correspondence, I got a notice in the mail. There is a safety recall on our new system. So, that being said, 2021 police interceptor. This notice applies to your vehicle, it matches our VIN. What's the issue? On your vehicle, the engine could fail prematurely in the event of engine failure. Significant quantities of engine oil and or fuel vapor may be released into the environment and may mitigate and or accumulate air emission sources, resulting in potential under the hood fire, localizing melting of components of smoke. There is a fix for it. It is free, but we do have to act on that in the near future. The only thing with that is we will have to coordinate with someone because the civilian driving a police vehicle is kind of a liability that we need to look into who can actually drive it to get service and or where we're going to take it to service because I don't have a location yet. Next up, I don't know what to do with this one. This was dated or addressed to the Valier Police Department and attention Kurt Packard. Says, dear neighbor, at Marathon Pipeline LLC, earning your trust and getting a company culture and a responsibility to take serious. We are committed to fostering strong, respectful relationships with people like you working on pipelines through transparent communication and reliable information. To ensure we're meeting the commitment we regularly conduct survey. At the end of the day, what we're looking at is in the coming months you will receive a survey from the American Petroleum Institute and will include questions about pipeline awareness, safety practices, elite recognition, and your level of trust with Marathon Pipeline. When we get that, I may need to contact the board or see who actually needs to fill that out. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if anybody's heard of that before. I never have. We did get our letter sent out on the permit violation that was spoken at the last meeting that was sent certified. I did sign it. I believe I got a receipt here from the thing sent out. Next, this kind of falls under the mayor's report. Tree branch fell off the tree next to Legion Park. Some of our people in public discussed that as a potential issue in the future. We did clean it up. I have contact information. I'm reaching out to get the owner to see if we can work out how we can get that tree removed because it looks like there's still lightning damage on it. And it could pose a potential future problem for our park and stuff that's there. I need somebody to volunteer to organize our keys. It's still not done yet. We've got a lockbox that we voted on that we put in. I've got no action on it. Anybody that wants to take that up, I need somebody to take that up to the top. Everybody on the board with it.
Ally, did you want to do that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm gonna take our keys.
Yeah. Are you volunteering?
Sure.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter if anybody else wants to.
Next, what happened next here, I'm doing this kind of as a result of the special meeting of censure, along with my promotion of transparency here. We had a FOIA request that was sent in to us from the U.S. Army Reserve on a report that was done by the police department. I did call and request Franklin County Sheriff's Office to provide an escort to the police department on 8/19/2025, 12 p.m. Along with city staff members that were there to witness, getting the documents from our files in the police department to fulfill the FOIA request. They also did patrol for a few hours without being asked prior to this meeting, so Franklin County was in town helping us out. If anybody's got issues or concerns about this, you can contact Franklin County for information. I did have to return their body cam footage on it, so it could be taken and all access led to the police department. And the police department will remain restricted until we find a resolve in what was previously stated under investigation to be completed through the special meeting. Just to reiterate, there is no active inventory on any equipment, evidence, or firearms stored in the police department at this time, and that's my ultimate reasoning for the restriction. Yeah, go ahead.
George. Excuse me, I have to keep clearing my throat. The repairman, can we please, Sue has called me 3 times, to try and get her refund on the uniforms. Can we not get someone there, since we're allowed to put a repairman in there? Can we not get, the uniforms are hanging on hangers inside the door. Can we not just reach in, get the uniforms and give them back to Sue, so she doesn't lose her money?
Well, I will reach out to Franklin County and see if they can facilitate that. I mean, part of this whole special meeting investigation is that I was going in there and I wasn't supposed to without a police escort. So I'm not gonna open up the police department without an escort until our investigation on this matter is resolved. Are you wanting to get back what we donated to the police department, is what you're saying, Sue?
Yes, it's not too late.
Is it just the uniforms?
Yeah.
Okay,
Nothing that the city spent on.
Okay.
It was a donation from a charity group.
okay.
I will contact Franklin County and see when they can do that for us. We'll do the same thing like I did with the FOIA request.
Thanks a lot, George, I appreciate it. She is very concerned and has called me 3 times.
And another,
I can't do anything about it because of course I'm not a police officer, so.
and another thing on that, that subject matter, I am reaching out. I have a private contractor I have to look into about our networking systems for the city is in a closet in the police department. I'm gonna reach out about getting it moved.
George, I don't know if you thought about it, I brought it up a long, long time ago, before we moved the police department down there. Could we not build a wall, and then you can just put USB instead of plywood up, but it'd be cheaper to the door, and build a wall, as soon as you go in, build a wall down to the closet, and have a new door put up to get into the police office, so that we can use that bathroom and that closet separate from the police department, and have the police department locked off from that hallway.
So what I would do on that one, if you could look into that, see what it would cost, and have that for a proposal. And then what I'll do is I'll contact the contractor about moving the networking systems we have in there and see which one's cheaper. I think that'd be the best course of action.
Okay, sounds good. I'll get with the guys and we'll see what we can come up with. That way we would avoid that problem in the future.
Because I was gonna move everything to the water department office in the closet, but if it's cheaper to build a wall, restructure the office and get a new door, we can go that route too. We can have the board vote on it.
I just thought that might be cheaper. I didn't know, but we'll check into it.
All right, next up, or lastly, I should say, this was mentioned by public comment. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, January 1st, 2012, it is unlawful not to complete the training as an elected official within 10 days of taking oath of office. Furthermore, any violations of the Open Meetings Act at the city board meeting can result in a $1,000 fine with a Class C misdemeanor up to 30 days in jail. The basis behind this is simple. Basically, if a person's not going to be in compliance with policies that are legally binding, then how could they be trusted to uphold the community standards and what we want to get done? It's blatantly breaking the law. I say this because currently I've got people that haven't completed it. We're over 120 days of compliance at this point. And previously in the unofficial closed meeting, in May, the minutes show I urged the board and asked them to complete within 30 days of that meeting, and it's still not been done. So moving on from there, we're going to go into our committee reports. Want to go to police and fire, so we have fire report.
All right, fire report had 1 tractor fire, 1 out-of-town traffic accident, 1 medical emergency, and electric wire in our public school. You want me to go ahead and go over the IDLC?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, we were supposed to get the work through mid-September, but we got them for 1 week. We had them from August 11th to August 15th. We got a few things done. We got the back of the firehouse painted. Old water department building, the paint was removed and the building's been repainted. The old voting building, paint was removed and repainted. Fuel tank behind the maintenance building's been painted. We started cleaning on the overhead bridge. It was really hot, so we worked that morning and then we went behind the community building and trimmed trees. We'll finish the overhead bridge as soon as the weather gets cooler. We began cleaning the pine trees behind the community building, and then Drew comes back, we'll finish that up. As of right now, we had $1,000 budget. Paint and painting supplies cost $691.90. Tools and supplies for brush removal, we got some blades for the weed eater, we got a chainsaw blade and some bar oil. They come up to $97.97. The remaining amount in the budget is $210.13. Which we'll probably use for fuel to finish up the brush removal.
Okay, water, sewer, streets and alleys, we didn't have one water leak, and what you guys thought it was a quick repair and fix thing. Our work crew actually helped on that one. It was a service line, but it was our responsibility. We were able to wrap it, we put a band on it, wrapped it, fixed it relatively quickly, no water loss, no boil water or nothing like that. As for everything else, I don't have anything else from any other committees unless someone else has something to do. Anybody? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to accept the committee reports?
Motion to accept.
I'll say the motion. Call the roll.
Kelly, this is on the
Yes.
committee reports. Rob?
Yes.
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And Wayne?
Yes.
All right, motion carried.
Okay, next up, we're moving to old business. This is coming up already, so it's on me. So ditches and tiles, and what I'm calling the triage project. This stems back from the initial looking into what Marshall brought up about the tile next to Lincoln Street by Methodist Church. I only got one, I'm gonna go back and forth with that. That's a picture of what we're talking about there. That's on Lincoln Street. And if you guys open up your folders, you'll see an M code quote. It has a plethora of prices on it. So initially, keep in mind, labor, gravel, which we regularly stock, is not incorporated with these prices. So Lincoln Street itself is gonna be about $1,623 project, is what they be quoting at, minus gravel, minus labor from the city. That's just for strict materials. So the reason I'm proposing this as a triage project is because I rode around with the city workers and I was asking them about this before I contacted anyone else. And kind of the response I got was, I think that's bad. I think they'll do this. So next up, I have Wilson Street. Okay, so Wilson Street.
Is that your fourth son?
It's this one. I didn't make the pictures, somebody helped me out, and they're good size. That's why we don't have copies of it, but figure it out. But that's Wilson Street. That project's about $12,680. Now, my concern with these, because I have two other projects on top of this one, my concern with all this is there's sidewalks involved. That one is actually suspended over that culvert there, that pile. I stood on it, it moved. I want to triage these things and see what we need to tackle first, because as we go a little bit further, you're gonna see there's some pretty nasty areas that could be a city liability. Like I said, that project Next up, we have, yeah, that's Wilson Street. Here's another one of the same.
That's on Wilson and Lincoln?
Wilson, it's about a block in.
Okay.
This is another of the same one here, because there's little kids that live by there. A member of our community brought it up to me. I felt we needed to address it. If you look at the pictures, there's standing green water there. When you go by it, we talked about mosquitoes, we talked about standing water. My county health is standing water being a violation anyway. This we need to address, but like I said, we're gonna go a little bit further into some other projects too. Next up, this one is on Patton Street. This is an old square style of tile, and that one doesn't look necessarily as dangerous, but for the most part, it constitutes a lot of work from our city employees. And so we constantly have to clean it up just once a year, and for some reason that area gets a lot of water. So that one is $3,196. It's a big tile that needs to go under the roof. And then Johnson Street. This is what they just spoke about in our public comments here. So let me explain this one to you. Constantly has standing water. Okay. The ditch is, if you can see in the picture, the alley to the previous lot is not lined up with this culvert here. So the whole ditch would need to be redone. Now, this quote is going to be huge if we choose to run a tile from this sidewalk to the alley. We don't have to. I will tell you, it will make it $800 cheaper if we don't want to tile the whole way when we put the ditch up. There's a lot of concerns because it doesn't line up right, it doesn't drain right. At the end of the day, it's causing a lot of problems for homeowners, as well as the same thing, stagnant standing water, potential breeding ground for mosquitoes, bugs, and things of that nature. On the other side of that, on the other side of the road, there is a 3-tile drain which looks like bugle sticks sticking out of the drain. We probably need to look into maybe contacting the city attorney to see if we need a fence around that. I want to put in tiles and connections to carry the whole thing. But that's just a horrible spot. That's across the street from the other side of the picture. Like I said, that project is a $9,900 project if we put 200 feet of tile in that ditch toward solid ground. Once again, for some reason, that holds water. I don't know why. It might be just low grade.
That's West Johnson, right?
Yes. Yeah, the Wilson Street and the Johnson are both Wilson. Yeah, but there's a sidewalk there, that's dangerous for anything.
Are those all galvanized or those plastic sticks?
Concrete. Well, the sticks are actually, they're not galvanized, they're just standard broken posts that are rusted. So it's just the theory of that's a liability. So, but like I said, $9,900 on that one if we choose to tile that whole 200 feet of that drainage ditch. If we don't, obviously it's another one. We can clean it out and do some dirt work and look at that in the future as to putting tile in later, because it is between two properties, but it is our easement. So my proposal with this whole thing is, you see the pictures, you see the numbers. I think we need to triage this and look at taking on the worst first. We still have the materials purchased for Benedict Street that we voted on, and we still haven't got to do that yet. So we should decide vacations and things of that nature. So I think time sensitive, we should look at the worst, the most dangerous area first before we move on with any of the top projects. But the vote's up to you guys on how we proceed here.
You want to do this individually?
Yes, individual projects, I would say take on the Johnson Street one first, because of that area there.
So
So if we don't put tile in there, Johnson, then the other is just clean it up and.
Just clean it up and straighten it out, maybe in the future look at lining up the alley, because the alley tile's not in line with that tile. If you wanna do a tile all the way through there, that's where it adds $8,000 worth of tile. Which is $200.
Where's this one?
West Johnson. As soon as you turn on the road, you can't. The south side is the one with the fence post.
That's what I want to miss, cause I go right through there, you know,
But I mean, there's 3 different drains going to that.
by not putting tile, do you think that would solve the problem?
It would definitely help. On that one, we would need to probably replace what's under that sidewalk and do dirt work to straighten it out. It'll help. So basically drain better, but I spoke with the homeowner, he brought in dirt, they didn't do it right. So just fighting them and the limitations of what he can do. We need to help him, basically. It's got standing water at all times. I couldn't imagine trying to mow it up. But it is kind of our easy property too. But if we don't put the tile in there, it's like I said, $8,800. And we would just be doing dirt work, but the other side definitely needs fixed.
George, I know I'm not supposed to speak, but I don't know if you're aware, but, every year we usually pass an IDOT resolution, to rock and chip the roads.
Okay.
And I consulted with Chris, but maybe some of this could be included with that resolution. I mean, I guess who does he contact?
I think the village engineer normally prepares that resolution, so we just need to talk to them and see if this qualifies and get that added to the resolution. We normally pass it by this time. You know, it needs, we probably need to get that passed in September.
That's to like rock and chip the roads, those roads we think we need done. That's how we expanded, the overhead bridge that turn with those, with motor fuel tax money. I mean, we have quite a bit of motor fuel tax funds, just so you know.
We have $81,000. I'm not sure why they haven't reached out to us to, consult with us on getting that repaired, but I'm not aware of them reaching out to us on that. So we can all the projects in this.
I don't, that's why, that's something you have to talk to an engineer about, what he would say would call, a lot of the stuff, if it's, by the end of the road, I'm sure. I don't know about the sidewalk.
So on page 2 of 6 of the financials, $81,001.49 on our MFT. We have to have that resolution passed before we can spend that money. So if we're going to oil and chip, we may need to do a special meeting to get that passed.
Yeah, because I think the last time we did oil and shipping, we needed to get it done for like November. You kind of gotta get on the list, if we do it by town.
Our direct contacts, Ronnie Potts on that one, here.
Yeah, be Rodney, or sometimes he defers it to somebody that works under him, I can't remember the guy's name, but. I have that guy's name. Huh?
Ron Magro.
Yeah, you're here.
A lot of that.
I was looking for you, I didn't see
Be
it.
covered under mobile fuel, but that already should have been done. Like you said, like Chris said, the resolution hasn't been passed.
Yeah.
And usually I got with Ron, talked to Ronnie, got with Ron, come over and grab the streets. They're looking to do road and chip. Well, there's no fuel tax, you use my tile, and you got 2 sidewalks.
So let's go ahead and, everybody, I'm sorry, but let's go ahead and table this. That way we can find out if this is funded. We're not taking out a big investment there, but that's what it costs. So let's just table the tile project for now until next meeting. If I get information prior to the next meeting, we will reach out about possible special meeting, especially with getting the resolution passed and getting funding for this. Okay, that being said, let's move on to code enforcement potential officers. Everybody has copies of 3 individuals that have turned in letters of interest or resumes or proposals. So if you want to look over those, I think we need to choose an ordinance officer. So, at the end of the day, if we don't, so, we need to pick somebody so we can get some stuff enforced. Once again, it's up to the board to decide. 3 potential candidates. I believe they're all. Mr. West, are you here? Yes. Raise your hand for me. There it is. Back for us. So if anybody has questions for him, I did call him and ask everybody to be here, and we can discuss it further.
I got a question. Is it in an ordinance not to have plants between the sidewalk and the roadway?
Unless it's permitted. But that's besides what we're trying to do.
Unless it's permitted by who?
Permits through the city. But we're talking about ordinance officers right now, so that doesn't apply to this situation.
But he's wanted running for it.
Right, but he doesn't have the information in front of him for our city ordinance officer. So he wouldn't be able to answer that question because he's not prepared enough and doesn't have the available access to the information in front of him. We're just deciding on the ordinance officer itself. We can't expect anybody that's a potential candidate to know our ordinances. We don't even have an updated book anymore.
I personally don't know all of it. He knows an ordinance that he wrote.
That doesn't pertain to this, this doesn't pertain to this conversation whatsoever. So,
I'm not in favor of hiring somebody that's broken ordinances and he's applying for the job.
right, but we're discussing 3 candidates for the ordinances.
Okay, I just gave my opinion about one.
What about the other 2 then?
I don't know about the other two.
So just because, okay, what you saying? Okay, so this is part of the resolutions coming out of the new business and why we get sidetracked a lot on topics. The reality is the ordinance in place now allows for permit planting of plants. He was issued a permit, he applied for it way back when, he paid the fee, he has a permit to do so.
Who gave him the permit?
I did.
Where does it say that?
In the ordinances that was issued to him in violation.
Where does it say you're allowed to plant there? Because the
If
current code book we
permitted.
have says you cannot plant
So
shrubs or
in
trees.
Unless permitted.
So in other words, anytime there's an ordinance, if you permit it, then they can go against it.
No. That's
what he just said.
So if I can address this, I will. So any ordinance violation which I was issued when I was told to move my plants, right above that, it says a permit may be applied for. So I highlighted that and applied for the permit. I brought that up with, I brought that piece of paper that I was given up with me and said a permit may be requested, applied for, and I applied for the permit.
According to section 33-3-2, planting trees in right of way, it should be unlawful to plant any bushes, trees, shrubs, or other plants on the right of way of any public street, including the space on the right of way between the sidewalk and the adjacent street pavement. I don't see anything in there that talks about you can issue a permit.
Because that is a city ordinance/law. You can't be given permission to break the ordinance/law.
Okay, so if we want to take this up as a topic in a future meeting, we can put it on the agenda, but we're discussing ordinance officers right now. We're getting off course.
I say if they're not,
A no to what?
the ordinance officer, if you can't follow the ordinances, he doesn't need to be the ordinance officer.
There's 3 people that are proposed candidates for the ordinance officer, so you're saying no to all 3 of them?
Be the one speaking right now, and I'm against it.
How about we start with one, like west, I've got west of there. We just go-
I need some information about Mr. West.
Mr. West, have you ever done any ordinance work before? I mean, I've got your, right here, have you done anything before?
As far as city ordinances, no. I was in the Army as military police, so that would be the closest thing I would have.
What do you think?
I just sent you his resume. He said he has not done, any code enforcement work, but he was in the military. Did you say?
Yes.
And he was post-military police officer. That's on his resume.
So he doesn't know anything about ordinances.
Are you familiar with how ordinances work and enforcing the codes and stuff?
Yes.
Villages?
As far as being familiar with them, I would have to read through them, but as far as I go, I can handle it.
And where is he from?
From Christopher.
From Christopher.
Has he always lived in Christopher?
No, originally from Denver. I've lived in Christopher for 17 years.
17 years.
Originally from Denver.
And how did you find out
Your
about
current
this
job, where you do security at?
I did security at Chesterman Health Center. I left there due to just a toxic environment. Got tired
Oh,
of
okay,
it.
so you're not currently employed, or?
Employed now at Walmart, but
He did security where and is he now, where is he now?
Where you do security now?
no, I don't now.
You don't?
No.
You're not currently employed?
I'm employed at Walmart and
Oh,
Denver.
at Walmart, that's current.
And he didn't say where he was security.
In Chester.
Chester.
It's on the resume.
Okay, I can't read that tiny, I have to pull it up. We need to see background checks and that kind of thing. I'm not just hiring somebody we don't know. I don't know how you
Do
guys
you have
feel,
some-
that's just how I feel.
Do you have some references or anything?
I can get you some.
We can give you some references if you want.
I mean, you gotta know who's right next to you, how they feel.
Anybody else?
It's just the first county, right?
Well,
Is there
don't
a,
you feel like we need references?
Are we gonna go one at a time, or are we just gonna, you know what I'm saying? Or they,
Does anybody have any questions for the people that are here, or do we want to, I mean, I would say, question who you think, and then we'll call them out one at a time and decide to get a name for it. And then we can, furthermore, approve on this officer that you choose.
In your paper, you do not have a salary or anything mentioned, some of them will do.
I just left it open. I didn't want to seem like I was overstepping what I should be, you know, how you guys felt I should be paid or anything in that nature. But I would like it to be like anywhere from $17 to $20 an hour.
We would have to
depending on
decide
the
if
hours.
it's a contractual person or what.
If I said, well, you contact the reference, we need some type of, besides the name and an address.
I'd like to speak further. So, in prior dealings with code enforcers, I've had 3 come to my house and address me, which I think is totally inappropriate. The code enforcer should observe a violation, send the person documentation through the mail. That way, there's a paper trail that we discussed it with the person, and it can be addressed professionally, instead of he said, she said, and in unprofessional manners, and become personal.
We have record of the certified letter we sent you.
I got that letter 7 days after an officer came to my house and told me I received the letter.
No,
and
you
was
received
told.
the letter before the police and the code enforcement.
I was, no ma'am, I did not. I was given 24 hours to move my plants with threat of, by Brian Miner, with threat of they were gonna bring a bulldozer down, remove my plants, and if I didn't pay, they were gonna pay for the expenses of that. They were auctioning my house in 30 days, which is all illegal, by the way. So, well, my suggestion would be, I don't care if you choose me or not. The reason why I proposed that I even put my name in the hat was because I felt like I was dealt with unprofessionally and unethically, and that this position should be handled in a totally different manner. I should never have a face-to-face encounter with a resident and have animosity when I could that all be handled through the mail professionally. And send them a letter, give them X amount of time to take care of it, and don't send them a citation. Bam, done.
Why is she talking over him?
Yeah, we know.
So,
He said Mr. Minor,
I appreciate you coming.
and that was after the letter was issued.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna have to do. The video conference with her not being here causes a side conversation with you two, disrupts the meeting. We're gonna have to change how we end. If she wants to say something, let us know so we can all stop and listen. But side conversation during the meeting is disruptive.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And if she wants to ask questions to the candidate, you get the phone closer to it, or let him walk up there, or whatever.
So let's change this up a little bit. Let's do this.
I'd like to speak on my behalf as well.
Go ahead.
Sure, I'll come up there so she can see me. I've been in Valier for the last 4 years. I'm Derek Harvin, by the way. The last 4 years, I've also been the code enforcer for the city of Christopher. So what I'm looking to do is know the background of code enforcement. I follow a lot of what Franklin County uses. I know Valier is trying to go their own route, which is totally fine. I deal with that at Christopher as well. Within the last 4 years at Christopher, we have seen some marketable gain on trying to get people more aware of code enforcement. I am not a police officer. I do not carry a gun. I do not carry a badge of a normal police officer would. With that being said, I do chase a paper trail for documentation. I work under the city police. I work under the mayor of Christopher. I have 2 sets of references with Mayor Christopher now, which would be Don Nicholas and then our late Gary Bartolotti as a reference for what I have done within the city. I have tried to kind of do things on Gelston Street to pretty the town. If you guys have never seen Gelston Street, it's we've got a lot of nice houses on there that care about what we look like. You know, myself and my neighbor to the east, we mow the lot beside us to make sure that there's no bugs standing. So a lot of this comes with me being an ordinance officer in Christopher, because I want to make my house look pretty. You know, I want the town to look great. Yes, you're going to have people that are hardball, and you really got to dive into, you know, the paper trail, sending those certificates. But better yet, having a one-to-one conversation in a professional manner. I hate you went through that. I really do. It seemed like you were approached in the wrong way. A simple conversation of, hey, this is what we've got going on. How long does it take for you to get it? I don't want to push a ticket. I don't want to send a certified mail. What can we do? Here's the city ordinance that we're working with. So, Steve, I hate you went through that. But more so yet, I just wanted to stand up and say who I am. I do come with a few years of experience of what I feel like the village of Valier is looking for. I was once the Valier animal control. I did resign on that. Not the best term, on a minorly fair term, to more pursue Christopher. If elected, and my proposal, I have a 24/7, well actually it was a 18 hours a day, Monday through Saturday. Of course, I try to keep my Sundays to myself, but my phone is always on. I have a 48-hour return time on behalf of that call voicemail. I do not work from Facebook. I will be honest with you guys. I get tagged a lot. Hey, this needs looked at. I have to follow protocol. I have to cover my own tail and make sure I have a paper trail. So in my proposal, I am to work underneath the city police, the city mayor, the village of Valier president. But one thing I will not do is little side tasks. I say what we're needing done, and I will pursue that. I am not going to go looking for trouble. I will address the trouble as need be. So I just want to stand up and introduce myself and let you guys know where I'm coming from with my experience. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for him while he's here?
I do. So, let's say an example.
If it's, Steve, if it's what ifs, we can talk. This is just solely about my characteristics and my.
I got to get questions from the board. I'm sorry, I do apologize, but he said he could talk to him afterwards.
Anything outside of my character and my professionalism, we can, I'll gladly talk to you about ordinances all day long. So. So I like you said, I'm a on-call basis. What I do is, to give you a small breakdown, say we have a yard in town. Miss Joanne calls the city, they leave a note for me. I have a 24 to 48 hour return time to call who has made the complaint, which it may be a neighbor, and I say, hey, this is Derek Parvin on behalf of XYZ. I noted that you have dropped off a complaint. I will be addressing that within 24 to 48 hours of follow-up. I do something like that would be a phone call, but if it is a building, usually I do a paper trail. That way I can turn that into council and the board, if you will, to let them know what I am doing. But as time frame goes, you could drive around town all day long and nitpick and nitpick and nitpick. Some people will play ball, some people won't. So when you say time, one thing could take a week. The certified mail, getting a hold of somebody. A lot of our lots are to people that are no longer there. They're taxable, and that's why I have a good standing with Whitney at Franklin County and the tax assessors, along with Jonathan Cantrell and his team in Benton. A lot of these relationships I formed over not on a 24-hour time, but a lot of this goes into weekly or monthly. To give you a baseline, I've been trying to get the Christopher movie theater structure tested for the last year and a half. So that is to give you a time frame. I can't tell you how fast I could get to something or to get something completed, but I do have a response rate and a definition of what I'm going to have. So I hope that answers what you were roundabout looking for.
Do you make regular rounds, or are you strictly on call?
Oh no, I mean I definitely would make my rounds, and that's in my proposal. I do have a gas allowance, which I know Chris mentioned that would be all mileage, which is fine. I mean I get on the side by side, we go on walks. Guys, I'm from Valier now. I don't have any. We might move on the outskirts of town, but this is what I call home for the well-being. My wife's an assessor woman, and I've kind of transitioned from a Bearcat to a Red Devil. So I want my town to look nice just as well as everybody else, and a reflection of how I do my business with ordinance. My yard's always mowed, trash is always picked up, trash cans are already pulled in. I mow my neighbor's yard, just to get. And I'm not trying to blow smoke or anything. I know what it takes, and it takes a lot of time. It does, because sometimes we're not going to get the people that says, "Oh yeah, it rained last week," and I say, "I know, I only got to mow my yard once." You know how I do. I mean, we see each other all the time mowing the back alleyway. So sometimes it takes that 48 hours. Sometimes it's a single phone call. Sometimes it's a certified mail to a gentleman in Belleville that's never going to answer you.
What was your concerns about? First, whoever you all hire needs to be paid as an employee, not a contractor. So we need to take taxes out, issue them a paycheck, and pay like in Medicare on them. That's my opinion. On this mileage, we don't need to do gas reimbursements. Just they need people mileage. We'll turn that in. They can get reimbursed at the IRS mileage rate. As far as the cell phone goes, I don't think we need to get involved in messing with cell phone expenses because either up for pay or forget about it. So everybody has to pay for a cell phone anyway. garage water, use a village vehicle, maybe the old police car, that'd be an idea.
And that would show, using the village police car, that shows a lot of teeth, actually. That actually kind of, when you roll up in something certified like that.
That's in the fire department.
Oh, well, that's what they did exactly, that was just a thought, you have to get new letter.
In the entirety of the cell phone reimbursement, that comes at when it is 5 o'clock in the afternoon and Mayor calls me and says, hey Derek, by the way, I need you to check this out. Or if you of the board say, hey Derek, I spoke with XYZ, can you check this out? That is me answering, and that is valuable time for me. So that is a business. That is making sure that I'm touching the office on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but also valuable to you to be able to give me that phone call.
Any other questions?
I want to ask you one.
Sure.
I'll throw you a hard one. How would you handle Mr. Doug Bellows' house? I'm gonna hide.
So we don't have, so honestly, I'd like to have that conversation privately, yeah, genuinely, for my safety and everybody here. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I don't mean that in a laughing matter, because
I don't
it
care
is.
who lives in that end of town, that's just
Sure.
not right.
And I'll call him a friend now, Bobby Johnson. You know, we talk every time. We're mowing buddies. He sits right next to him. I couldn't, all the horror stories. Again, I'd love to speak on behalf of that. Again, I am not the code enforcer now. I didn't want to tell you, but right now it would be by county, Franklin County, and then the president of Valier. Would all be attendance in one sitting while any type of property access would happen.
My personal opinion, that's been on way too long. And then I seen something else on here tonight that upset me too, $500 some odd worth of water that's unpaid. Good luck getting it.
He doesn't own the property. I don't even know if anybody really knows who does.
Yeah.
Franklin County would know. Yeah.
But it's just absolutely not fair to anybody in this town, Bobby or anybody, Brad,
Sure.
anybody down there. I don't care who lives down there.
Very understood.
Put up with that. And it ain't just him, it's anybody.
But with that,
Let's keep it up track.
Sure.
We're discussing three people from ordinance officers, we can address specific issues. Well, that's a legitimate question.
yeah, and on behalf of
Well, we shouldn't say that we have to be like that, especially with that. I think it's a little teeter on the edge of professional. I mean, even if it's
It's a legitimate question, it's been going on for a long time.
you could have left his name on it too.
But that's what I was gonna talk about, I could have said somebody down in the west end of town that's got trash all over.
We
their
have
yard. It's not hard to
resolutions,
figure out.
we have resolutions coming up about the quorum for public comment, we should carry ourselves to the same standard. So, that being said, does anybody have any other questions for any of the candidates?
thank you.
If not, if we want to document this, Gina, if you want to call the names out and say maybe we can vote on each, what do you think's the best way to handle it?
I guess, just call the roll,
Well, let's,
say a yes or no vote, or?
well, we got to pick one. If we're going to proceed with having an ordinance officer. And it depends on the stipulations, since we don't have proposals from all but one of them for employment, we can make a contingent on developing an employment plan.
What did we pay the cost?
We did.
I wasn't sure.
I would say call the roll and have them make their choice and see if that has some sort of quorum to it. If it doesn't, we'll have to readdress how we discuss it.
Say something before we go.
Sure.
Just looking through this, I mean, Derek, he's already doing his job. We might have to adjust, are you willing to adjust? Are you willing to discuss like the cell phone and the mileage and stuff?
Absolutely. And guys, I'm pliable. What it all comes down to is you guys have a public notation on expense for your police officers, and that's what I take in account. And that's what I run my numbers through to show what is rightfully paid. Again, I'm not a police officer. I don't carry a gun. I do not have a patrol car. However, I am one of the gentlemen that are stepping foot on premise. I am doing paperwork, And a lot of that stuff is, well, he's just an ordinance officer, and I am, and a lot of that follows suit of your patrolman. So that's why the proposal looks as it is.
Would you, if they voted for you?
Sure.
I really propose a 90-day probation. We work 90 days, we reconvene, and then look over and say, okay, this is our guy. Or, I agree with that. Well, I mean, with it, yeah, with everybody, a 90-day probation. Would you agree if you were picked,
I didn't want to speak on behalf of the 3 other candidates on that.
No, I'm asking you, would that be fine with you?
I would be interested in that, yes.
I think that's fair. We give you 90 days, whoever gets picked, and then we reconvene in 90 days, and then we make a phone call. Is there any problem with that?
The hard part about that is we're coming up into our cooler months, so please know that the reflection of work, as in a lot of your yards that are not being mowed will not need to be mowed then. So the reflection of how many tasks completed, if you will be substantially lower than what, of course, in our mowing seasons would be. I just wanted to make sure that was... Sure.
What I'm really important in an ordinance officer is someone that can do the job, but also be able to work with the community.
Sure.
Because this is the way I look at it. There are some people that, yes, they don't mow their yards, but there's also people that can't mow their yards. They have a good reason for it.
Sure.
And everybody's complaining, and nobody's going up and saying, hey, how come you're not mowing your yard? It could be very well they don't have a lawnmower, or lawnmower's broke. It's hard times. I mean, if it becomes a nuisance, then yeah. If they don't have an excuse, I can see going after them. But everybody in this village wants to talk about the community. Part of the community is not getting on Facebook and complaining.
Right.
It's not coming here and complaining.
Right.
If your neighbor, if their yard's high, ask them. Why is your yard high? You need some help. I mean, that's what I want for this village, is for people to start coming together.
Yeah.
Instead of complaining about everybody, start helping them. Now, don't get me wrong, there's gonna be knuckleheads. Every place I've ever been has been knuckleheads. And that's where the ordinance officer comes in. But the rest of this, as a community, we can take care of ourselves.
Right.
I mean, that's just how I feel about it. But do we need an ordinance officer? Yes, we do. We need an ordinance officer. But some of this stuff could be taken care of. I mean, there's a phrase, I am my brother's keeper. We need to start being brother's keepers. That's just how I feel about it. So, like I said, I think whoever we pick, give them 90 days. And it's not just based on how many tickets they wrote, it's how they move within the community.
Everybody should be treated equally.
Exactly. Right?
So somebody shouldn't say move your flowers to the person across the street.
Well, I'm not, I think it should all be fair.
It's discriminatory practice.
Let's not go backwards.
That's my thought on it. Because I've seen lots of, I'm not gonna get real, I've seen people walk past something, not saying that they get home, get on Facebook and then complain about it. And they could have done something right then and there. That's just how I feel about it. We do need an ordinance officer, we need to pick one. I think 90 days is a good time limit to decide if this is our guy or not. You've got 3 candidates. I personally, no offense to the other candidates, I think Derek has the most experience. I think out of his resume, he's the strongest one. Give him 90 days, and we go for it, give him 90 days. If he doesn't work out, then we'll do it the next year. Until we find somebody. But what I'm looking for, which is I'm speaking for myself, is an ordinance officer that can communicate with them. I don't want a bunch of arguing and all that. Communication skills is very important. That's my thought.
Anybody Anybody else on this topic? So let's try this. Obviously, this vote we're making will document for the record is going to be contingent on a 90-day probationary period. Vote to choose somebody. And also, we need to coordinate with Chris to make sure payroll situations are in order and it's agreed upon between all parties. So there's a lot of contingencies on this, but this will be us determining whether we pick an officer or not. So it'll be a yes or no vote. She will call the roll. So I guess the best way to do it, state your candidate who you want to choose for the position. And if that doesn't come to the floor, we'll readdress it and we'll just call them one by one. That make sense?
Calling their name, they're gonna say who they.
Yeah, they're gonna select their candidate. For some reason, we don't have to do any decision. We'll call the candidates out one by one.
Okay, Kelly,
Yeah. No, we have.
what?
Start.
Are there any candidates you don't wanna go first? Okay. Okay, we'll start from the back. Wayne.
I don't see there.
Okay. Jeff,
I would say Derek, just for his experience.
Marshall,
Mr. West.
Gail,
Derek.
Rob,
I'd say Derek.
and Kelly, if you wanna vote. You have a majority.
Eric.
Okay, so, looks like we have 5 for Derek and 1 for Dennis West. So, Derek. And then it's the candidate that you're choosing. So those are public officer.
You want to hang out after the meeting, we'll get contact information, and we'll reach out to you. Sure thing. All right, next up on old business, we have fire department lettering. Mr. Marshall, did you find anything out on this? No, I did not. Okay, we're gonna table that until next meeting. And lastly, under old business, so chicken ordinance. So, we need to re-vote on this because initially we've got some errors here. 2/24/2021, it was voted into place. City Hall has been telling everybody we can't have chickens, and we did vote it, October 18th, 2021 is when it was approved. So if we don't want it, we just have to re-vote on it and say no as a rescinding of the vote rather than the vote itself. It was passed once already, we just didn't turn it paperwork. So if anybody wants to speak on it, they can, on the board, but we just need to re-vote on it. Keep in mind, Mount Vernon, Cesar, Benton, DuQuoin, Christopher, Buckner, Marion, all allow chickens. We just need to take another vote on it to rescind the previous vote, rather than just vote on whether we can have chickens or not.
So yes, we bring more chickens than
Right, we have to.
Make people pay for it.
I mean, if that's in the ordinance, at the end of the day, I mean, if we have an ordinance officer, we can look into that, as well as following them along side by side, like I've been doing for the last 4 years. But we're just voting whether we can have chickens or not. So, if anybody has anything to say, speak now, it's not being called roll.
Is this the ordinance that goes with
That was the original one that was passed. So briefly, not to exceed 10, no roosters kept in residential areas. Maintain an enclosed coop, facility housing female chickens on the run, that's enclosed as well. There's some property line distinctions here, permits, $25 yearly.
So we'll have to make sure that
as for the verbiage in this, I didn't have any ambiguity at all. I think if someone said Scott Banks probably wrong. Someone like or something like
Yeah,
that.
well, he got a proposal and boarded it for like us.
Right. I think that was Carbondale has chickens.
The only thing I see is it doesn't have anything about research.
Don't you mention no roosters?
I haven't come across it.
No individual shall keep male chickens for any
Oh,
purpose.
okay, very good.
To raise chickens or other plants for fighting purposes.
Well, you can't raise them to fight. Oh, that's another thing, it's like a small business or so, yeah, it's for personal use. Personal usage. So yeah, we just need to call the roll on it and see if we're sticking with it, and if we wanna readdress the proposal itself as an ordinance, how it's written. We can bring it up at the next meeting and sign it, so we're moving forward with it, and we're gonna say no, we don't have to.
Well, I make a motion that we have chickens.
What was your motion? Is that the chicken?
Yeah, they have chickens.
So, I think on this one, it's,
And I need a second.
we don't have to call a motion on this one because we need to rescind it. Does that make sense? Because it was already voted in place, and then we re-voted and said no without.
Right, so what are we voting on? To
We're voting on
rescind
to
where
either
we said not
rescind
to have it?
October 2021 when it was passed, we need to vote whether we are rescinding that or whether we're gonna keep it in place.
Okay, so
So-
he's voting, making the motion to keep it in place.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think we need a motion because we just did a wrong vote basically last month. We just need to re-vote on it.
We were already.
Yeah, it was already approved. Okay.
It's already approved, it should just stay, right?
Well, we voted no last month,
Yeah, we voted no last time.
but it was,
So we basically don't need to just rescind that vote.
that's what I'm saying. So that doesn't call for motion, we just have to call the roll. So we'd be
Okay,
rescinding the previous vote that was approved in 2021. So we don't have to call a motion, we just need to re-vote basically whether we're getting rid of it.
okay, so we're rescinding.
So we're going to rescind our vote, yes or no?
So yes means you keep it.
Yes.
You don't have to have chickens, girl.
Okay, so let's call roll call. You're voting no, not to rescind the previous vote?
If I'm understanding correctly,
This is what gets confusing. Are we voting to rescind it, or are we voting to not have chickens?
So originally it was approved, right, it was voted on approved 2021. Last month we voted no to the ordinance because it said we never passed it, but we did. So what we're doing now is either making the decision to rescind the vote from October 2021 or to keep it in place.
So if that's the case, then if we want to rescind the vote, it should be a yes.
Correct.
I actually confused my life.
Can we say yes chickens or no chickens?
So what's the issue that we could have chickens, but now we can't? Like, if we passed it back then, what came up that?
It was never put in ordinance form and voted, I mean, you can pass an ordinance, but it's not finalized till it's it's in ordinance form and proper legal form and filed with the county. It's never been filed with the county.
So why didn't they get filed with the county?
Because the mayor at the time passed away when it happened, and the new mayor didn't wanna pursue it.
That makes sense.
So at that time, it should have been rescinded then, is that correct?
So what we're looking at is October.
Yeah, we should have rescinded it.
Oh, okay.
The street ordinance proposal was presented and discussed. Kelly Baker made a motion to accept the proposal to be written up by the attorney, Scott Dagger, seconded the motion. Votes are as follows: Kelly Baker, yes; Scott Dagger, yes; Kevin Kuzinski, no; Bruce McMurray, yes.
Okay, so my question, I get what you're saying.
There's a
So
disconnect
if it's
with the
passed and we're
ordinance.
already gonna do it, then why are we just voting no for it? That's
The ordinance was never turned in and signed and made official, but the vote was made official.
right, I get that.
That's what
So
I'm
if the board voted on we can have chickens, why are we voting no? What's the issue that you guys don't want chickens?
It was brought up last month, as we never voted on it, but we did. So now we need to just decide whether we're gonna keep it or get rid of it.
I get that, but I'm saying, why did you guys vote no last week? What was your guys' reason, the ones that voted no? If it was already passed, what's your issue with people having chickens? I know it's their choice, well, what's the reason?
Well, maybe they don't, like right now, we don't have a code enforcement officer, so who's gonna enforce?
Well, if you got
Who
some
has
right
the
next
food?
to your house.
There is.
Making noise every day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like
Or
that.
if they don't maintain it, and it gets stinky and smelly,
where's all that gonna go? Ditches or trash?
So then we get an ordinance person, they take care of it.
So what's the problem?
So, here's my thing, I'd like for everybody to think about before we make decisions, on all decisions here. I don't get to vote, obviously, I just get to entertain the meeting, basically present facts. At the end of the day, keep in mind, we're not deciding for ourselves. We're not deciding for just us people. Everybody in the public, everybody in the community, we're making decisions that's what their best interest is and what they want. Just because you don't like them, or you don't like the situation, or you don't want them, doesn't mean that 10 other people out there do. Just keep that in mind when you make your decisions. This isn't, we don't decide what's best, we listen to the people who make those decisions and put it system. Okay, so that's your first warning, Kelly, so we're not gonna interrupt and make snide comments over the phone because everybody can hear it. I didn't know you could cough and say debating you. That's pretty skilled, but either way, please put yourself on mute unless you got something to say. Anybody else got anything on this one?
Can I say something? I have neighbors that have chickens and I don't even know they have chickens. So, I mean, if they had roosters, I would know, but chickens just stay where you put them. Anyway.
I don't like Memphis, can we get an ordinance that Memphis can't live next to me?
So what are we doing? Are we taking a roll call vote?
Let's do a roll call on the chicken ordinance, whether we are keeping or getting rid of it. Last month's vote wasn't an accurate vote, we just need to decide if we're going to rescind the initial vote for 2021 or not. So, if you vote yes to rescind the vote, you would be saying no to having chickens in town. If you vote no to rescind the vote, we would be saying people can have chickens.
So did you understand that, Kelly? Yes, if you wanna rescind the vote to not have chickens, no, if you want to have chickens, an ordinance.
Yes.
Billy, Rob,
Yes.
Gail,
I abstain.
Marshall,
Yes.
and Jeff,
No.
and Wayne.
Yes.
So we're going to rescind the original vote.
No chickens. we're gonna be moving to new business. And first on the agenda here is Ted Farmer's update on the Valier monument as well as a lighting report. Sue, you said you're speaking on his behalf?
Yes.
Okay, what do you got?
Okay, I'm Sue Versalino. Like he said, I'm speaking for Ted, because Ted's on vacation. But as you can see out there, we've made some progress finally. And, so probably next week, we'll be able to, lay the bricks, the name, with the names on it. I'm not sure for sure, but maybe. But anyway, Ted was wanting to put, lights on the, monument and names and so forth. And first we thought about, putting just, lights around it. But, kids will probably, pick them and tear them up. So he talked to, Ameren, and, they suggested they put a light over on the southwest, northwest side. And Ted said he would pay for everything. I mean, it would have to go through the board, but he give me the bill and I'll pay it if the board, and he will pay, huh? I don't know. That is what he wanted. And, he said he will pay 5 years, for the lighting. I'll pay that in advance, 5 years. So the board won't be out any opinion for 5 years. And, that's done.
Okay, so I talked to him too, I'll help you out here because I talked to him previously.
Yeah.
He's talking about putting a light bulb on the northwest corner across the street from the monument. You will pay for the cost of install for him to put a light bulb and put a light on it. He says they're averaging about a cost of $12 per month. I don't know if we can get a separate bill specifically from them, if we agree with this, Chris, but he would say he would pay 5 years in advance and pay for it ongoing.
I don't know if it'd be part of our whole street light bill or it'd be a light on a separate meter.
Right.
It would be cheaper if it was on your bill.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a
But he
way to
would-
separate that out.
But he would pay for it in advance. He'd pay 5 years in advance. And so then it could just, come off of,
Yeah, there's no way for me to come up with a cost on that.
It's $12.
like you said, $12 a month.
About right, actually.
By 12 and go 5 years.
Yeah.
I think we have to make a decision because this can ultimately affect things in the future. I don't know. There may come a time where somebody's not paying for it.
Mr. Mayor, can I suggest just a little light? The light up there on the standard station is about the same thing.
Okay.
It's gonna cost $2,000 to light that standard station. We got Cameron out there, it's on Christmas lights. I think it's about $12 a month for that one single light.
It is.
Is that not correct, I guess?
Yeah.
And I think it comes with a separate bill.
It is on a separate bill. And find it here. $15.76.
Do you have the ability to do that with this as well?
I don't know, we'll have to talk to Ameren on that. So.
Could you look into that? Or if you want to, we can give you his contact information. Let's go ahead and table that till next month.
Can we do it sooner? Because
We don't have any proposals or anything, we gotta get the specifics. I mean, let's say years down the road, things have changed substantially, and now we have another bill. So,
I'm just going to, it's going to keep on charging,
it's, so if, my thing would be, if you can't have it a separate bill, how do we know it's different on our paying bill and paying for the city, what we responsible for? But I think we need to get our specifics in mind before we make a decision on it. So if you wanna look into that and see what it costs, like I said, he would handle the install pole itself,
He'll pay for everything.
Yeah, he pays for everything, but
The city won't be out a dime.
I think we need to differentiate, separate that, so we don't have intertwining stuff with our municipalities.
Okay, and something else he wanted me to ask, if it's all right, but he's wanting to put a flag, American flag, and also a bluebird flag. We're going to have one made. And but Gina said she looked it up, and you can't have a flag lower in the same area.
In a park, you can't have another flag, American flag, below.
So, but anyway, we could get it, he wanted to put one on each side of the sidewalk. Or we could put the bluebird and maybe Illinois flag or something, and wonder if that would be okay.
Putting in 2 flagpoles,
Mm-hmm.
is it gonna be within the monument, or is that like?
He says it'll be on both sides of the sidewalk.
Does anybody have a problem with flagpoles around the monument?
15 foot. But about light, I don't know, someone said that a flag was not supposed to fly at night unless it had a light on it. I don't know if that's true or not. Huh? It is true. So if we have that light out there, it might shine on that other, I don't know if it's, but it might shine on the other flag. That used to go in the ground floor, of the ground.
Let's do this, can we, because I know some of this is gonna be time sensitive, let's go ahead and do a vote for flagpoles for, Mr. Farmer for the monument. And then what we can do is we'll readdress the actual flagpole for old business. Are you okay with that? So if anybody wants to make a motion to approve flagpoles for the new monument, make that a motion.
What are they, 15 feet?
Mm-hmm.
Who seconded it? Rob. Okay, I'll call the roll. Billy? Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Dwayne?
Yes.
All right, motion carried.
Okay, and also, after we get, well, I'm not gonna do it, anyway, when we try to get, what do you call it? Come in and decorate it, landscaping. We're gonna have that done, is that okay?
Yeah, it's intertwined in the same monument. I don't think we'll need to vote on that. If it's gonna be something severely invasive or expand or something for the group.
Well, we're going to try to get something that won't have to be taken care of, so we won't have to come to water and everything.
So I'll bring up, and if he could show up next meeting, or.
He could.
Yeah, then we address the lighting of the monument at the next meeting of the old business. Next up, and I mentioned this to him prior to the meeting, we're going to discuss police officer proposal from David Ramsey. This is not any intention of hiring, there's a lot of hoops to jump through with this. We're basically deciding on whether or not we want to entertain this as a topic, because this isn't sabotage or anything like that. I'm just stating facts. So we've not had the police officer training yet, so what we'd be talking about is the potential for sending him to school, funding for that, with the chance of getting reimbursed from the state, if we wanted to proceed with that. But if you look through all your information, he has tons of references. He has a decent resume as well as a proposal that I gave to everybody. And now's your time you can ask him questions, because I did ask him to be here as well. Another thing too, though, this is for the public, so I want everybody to know this. I was doing this on the side. If we proceed with this, because everybody discusses things or mentions when it comes to the board of the public, we need a police officer, we need a police officer. keep in mind, we are approved 30 hours a week as a part-time officer. To put that in perspective, out of the 672 hours a month, it's only 138 hours overtime. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's in defense of anybody ongoing previously as been a police officer, if you say they don't see them or anything like that, we're really limiting the amount that we can have on patrol because we can't afford full-time officers. So, at the end of the day, I hear that a lot, and I just want to say that for this position, because we're very limited as to how much we can even work on when we have officers. So the amount of good we can do is 30 hours a week. But if anybody has questions for Mr. Bailey, now's your chance. Do you want to say anything, sir? I'll give you that opportunity if you want to come forward so they can hear you on the phone as well.
So, my name is Dave Clancy. I do have experience in police work. Rules have kind of changed since when I was doing it to now. When I was doing it before, I was appointed to the position, pending an academy date. Didn't make it to the academy date. Not due to any fault of my own or the department. But now you have to go through the academy before you can even be put on the road. So I came to answer any questions that the board or anybody has as far as references or experience that I have had. If you guys have any questions.
With us sending, with the village sending you to class, will you be signing like any type of contract for how long you will remain as an employee with the city?
For most smaller towns, villages, that's part of the process, especially when they're sponsoring you through the academy.
Sure.
I know Paducah does it, they send the officer to the academy. They make that officer sign a contract that they are to be with that police department for X amount of years. I think Paducah's is 6 years. And if you don't fulfill your contract, then you have to pay a portion back of your.
That's how most of the contracts are written.
So that's how it's usually done. What happens is a community will send him to the academy. He'll sign a contract, he goes to the academy. We pay for his schooling. He comes back, he gives us X amount of years. Usually it's like 6 years. We didn't call us, I think 6 years is what they quit. If he quits before that 6 years, they deduct a proportion. They have some kind of formula they follow, and pay that portion of his tuition back to the academy. That's my understanding.
That's how it is.
Are you okay with that?
I am.
Dave, where did you work, Dave?
So, I work auxiliary for Benton and Ewing, as well as on the road for Ewing, another village.
Okay. Did you go tracking for Ewing?
No.
Either time for Ewing?
No. Auxiliary police, which no longer, they don't have it anymore. But an auxiliary officer is not a commissioned officer, which means they don't go through the academy, they can't work or couldn't work unless under the direct supervision of a sworn officer.
Okay, so you've never attempted to go to academy?
I did. And I had a date set and ended up with 2 deaths in the family within a 4-month period, which I missed out on the academy.
That's the one and only time.
which is why I had to go to the full-time academy instead of the part-time, because I missed my part-time day.
Okay, so you are eligible to go to a full-time academy, but not part-time?
Correct.
They do. Ziegler just has somebody finish it.
That's the weekend one.
It is.
The weekends.
It is, yeah.
Well, they do 2 different styles. We can go straight through, or on the weekends, which takes over a year to complete.
Now, do you have the ability to go to this academy if you suffer? Because you wouldn't be necessarily hired.
Would you be chosen not to work this many years in police for a reason?
No. About 4 years ago, my daughter, who at that time was a preteen, ended up having a heart surgery. So I decided not to do nights or weekends away from the house.
Let me redact my question there and redirect it to Chris here. Would we be paying him to go to the academy?
I don't know why you all want your most policy here, but Ziegler, when we've had, officers go to the academy, we pay the wages. For 40 hours a week or 16 hours on the weekend is what the person that just went through the part-time got paid.
And the full-time academy is how long?
18 weeks.
18 weeks full-time academy, so we get 18 weeks of full-time pay for a police officer.
It's my understanding that we can't work because we don't have another police officer we can work under as police, according to the new rules.
It doesn't, even if you had another police officer,
And I don't even know
nobody
if we
going
do
through
that
the
anymore.
academy could work until they completed the academy per the new rules. You can't be on the road at all until you complete it.
So you have to go through like an NGO program every after the academy.
That's the town's discretion.
And is it around, Chris, am I correct, is it around 8,000 for the academy?
Oh, I can't remember that off the top of my head.
Yeah, she's right on that one. It's about 8,000. So we'd be paying out 8,000, and then you're looking at what's our wages for just an officer.
I think it's 20 or 23 an hour.
So where does the city sit on there if something happens during going to the academy and you're not able to finish the academy or something? Where does the city sit? Are we just out the money or?
No.
That's where it falls back.
You just have to pass the academy year.
So that puts pressure on him to fulfill it. And then, when you figure about 40 years you work for us, I need you to work at least 4 till I'm off the board.
I don't plan on going anywhere since I live a half mile out of town.
We're talking 14 grand later, all he's like together. We'd be up about $25,000 on the case.
Which is the biggest concern for any town, village of any size. It is always the cost. But with the contract and the state reimbursements, you set it up where you recoup some of those losses.
And there is potential with the Illinois State League of University School. But, like I said, the initial, we'd be out of pocket initially. His labor plus the school cost.
This is the thing about it, what I've noticed about the police department. basically we've been through in the last several years. So if you see him, if you've been set on having a police department, you send him to school and you say, you're gonna work for us in X amount of years. Because every time we move a police officer, we do a police same thing. We're looking for a uniform, there's not even a uniform for that. Ideally, what we need is a guy that's just retired from law enforcement, lives in Valier, and doesn't mind his home every second of the day. You're not gonna find it. And if you do find that, he's gonna last about 5 years, and you're gonna be right back with the uniforms. I mean, it's something to think about. I don't know if I personally would vote yes or no. Maybe it's more discussion, possibly. Figure out a contract for what we want to do.
You know, if, say you go to your schooling and you're hired here, and then we, as a group, do not think you're doing the job like you should, and we've signed you for 6 years or whatever, you know. I'm not saying you wouldn't, but in some cases that could happen. You know, so, I don't know.
In some cases, we see.
Yeah.
In other cases, with what we have right now, I mean, I've got my feeling at this point, what we have right now is very, very hard time. It just is. Unless there's somebody that wants, like I said, a retired guy that just wants to make a little extra money on the side. Then he's not gonna work till he's 80 years old, he's gonna get maybe 5 or 6 years out of it.
Well, if he doesn't fulfill that contract, then he would be responsible for repayment
For his school, but I think I don't know for sure. You're responsible for the school.
Right.
But what we pay him is
Right.
we're out. Right. Because we're actually paying him to go to school.
Right.
If we have any more questions for him specifically, because it's probably really awkward to stand there. If you don't, you can sit down. If somebody's got a question, we'll call you back. So here's our options in a nutshell. We can table it if we want to discuss it. We can put it to a vote, and if we don't have motions that approve going through the next steps of the process, it'll die and it'll just fall. So it's up to you guys how we decide. I'm not gonna take this one unless the board wants me to. If we want to do more research, we want to get into it more, we can. I have no problem bringing this up again next month. But if we don't want to entertain this at all, let's push it for a vote. Nobody makes a motion, and that is we move on.
Mr. Mayor, can I say something? Or make a suggestion? First, I would highly suggest you guys reach out to the RLSB, which is the Illinois Law Enforcement State Training Board. I would reach out to them to find out the appropriate protocols. As far as you guys' reimbursement, you guys have to apply for that, and that is after a successful completion of academy, as well as it would not hurt to reach out to a part-time academy to find out how long that academy drags out, since it's only weekends. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they also still have to have a lot of hours. And so you could potentially be looking at a long time before you can have an officer in here if you're going to send somebody to academy.
Right, that's the basis of this discussion too, because we not only have a lot of time, we're a substantial amount of money before we start having the ability to produce any type of results for this production.
Also, you can't even offer.
So that's why I asked, we can,
Potential qualified.
we can table this, or we can move to vote it down or not move it, whatever we done in correspondence with the secretary. We will table this one for now. We will look at advertising and getting more applications for potential candidates. And we'll readdress it for next week. Does that sound all right?
As long as we make sure do something wrong with me. I like that idea, that's good, but we seem to.
We can give it a month to generate, see if we get any bites on something. We'll go from there then. Next up on the new business, moving into along here, is the resolution of camera usage inside the building city hall. It is resolution 25-463. So do you want to
Want me
read
to
this?
read this?
Or just
Oh, well.
Let's go ahead and, let's read it out. That way everybody can hear it.
This is a resolution authorizing the installation of video surveillance cameras in the village of Valier City Hall and related municipal offices. Whereas the village of Valier has a compelling interest in ensuring the safety and security of employees, elected officials, and the public. And whereas the village of Valier also has an interest in protecting its property from theft, vandalism, and other unlawful acts. And whereas the installation of video surveillance cameras in public areas of the village of Valier City Hall and other municipal office buildings is a reasonable and appropriate measure to achieve these security and safety goals. And whereas the purpose of this surveillance is to monitor public-facing areas where there is no reasonable expectation of privacy and not to infringe upon the privacy rights of employees or the public in private spaces. And whereas the village of Valier seeks to install, maintain, and operate a video surveillance system in compliance with all applicable federal, state, and local laws, including but not limited to the Illinois Eavesdropping Act and laws concerning privacy. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Valier, Illinois, Franklin County as follows. Section 1, authorization and purpose. The Village of Valier Board of Trustees authorizes and directs the installation and operation of a video surveillance system within the publicly accessible areas of the Village of Valier City Hall and other municipal office buildings, including the building entrance and exits, public lobbies, front counters and reception areas, common hallways and stairwells. Section 2, locations. Cameras shall not be placed in any area where a reasonable expectation of privacy exists, including but not limited to restrooms, locker rooms, or private offices. This policy also prohibits the surveillance of areas outside of designated camera locations. Signage, Section 3, signage. Clear and conspicuous signage shall be posted at all public entrances to any building where video surveillance is in use to inform employees and the public that the premises are under surveillance. Section 4, prohibition on audio recording. Video surveillance shall not include the recording of audio in any public or non-public areas in strict compliance with the Illinois Eavesdropping Act. Section 5, use of the recordings. Video recordings and any images derived from them shall be used exclusively for security, safety, law enforcement, and internal municipal administrative purposes. The recording shall not be used to monitor or evaluate employees' performance unless the video captures a violation of law or municipal policy. Section 6, access and retention. Access to live feeds, recorded footage, and surveillance equipment shall be limited to authorized personnel only that are part of the Police and Fire Committee. All recordings shall be retained for a period of no less than 30 days, unless the footage is needed for a specific investigation or as evidence in a legal proceeding. Any destruction of recordings shall be documented. Section 7, enforcement. Village President of Valier or their designee shall be responsible for developing administrative procedures to implement this resolution, including rules for data access, retention, and maintenance of the equipment. Section 8, severability. If any section, subsection, paragraph, or provision of this resolution is held unconstitutional or invalid, the remainder of this resolution shall not be effective. Section 9, effective date. This resolution shall be enforced in effect from and after its passage. And then if we pass it tonight, then we would, it would become effective today.
Okay, so I got a couple things, I spoke with you earlier about it.
Yeah, we talked about adding the police department and the mayor's office.
And I don't know if we can actually maintain 30 days of footage with people that we have now. We would have to look into that, so I don't know if we want to reword that, or if we want to seek out spending money on storage stuff. Because I don't know, my personal stuff at home, I have it streaming all the time, and it only does about 4 or 5 days, unless I up everything up and have external devices, which I do. But it costs money for those things.
Right.
And that's something we would have to actually download that probably weekly. So, I don't know if we want to invest that, or if we want to reword the amount of attention we keep there. But I would like to have the mayor's office and the police department, because there is city equipment and there's former computers that have access to records.
So he wants to add the police office and the mayor's office. But, George, I do want you to know, you are considered, you have an office here, and you would have to agree, each person
Yeah.
that's the mayor would have to agree to that, because
Yeah,
they
it'll
really,
be-
it stresses, they really, you shouldn't have cameras in
Since-
individual offices.
Yeah, since there's no audio, if we post it, it falls in the category of what we do.
He doesn't know that our equipment can record, 30 days. So we would either have to invest in more storage, or we would have to say that download it.
Yes, it has to be downloaded every 2 weeks on the savable drives, and they have to be locked up and dated.
Is that what you're suggesting?
If that's what we have to do. And I think that all of that cluster that's at the double doors, yes, the north and south hall have to be monitored, they need to be moved to the end of the south hall and the end of the north hall. And one in the PD. And if you move one in his office, take the one in the third one that's right there, and put it in his office, but Lisa does have one showing he's coming in the door, it's outside the door.
So what you're saying is put it down here so it faces down that hallway, so you can see people walking in that door.